Yeah.
Okay, can you see that yellow first slide? Can you see that yellow first slide?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. As I said, thanks for your time. Noahface, we sort of consider ourselves an Australian company that was born and built here, but providing customers now with the world's most powerful time clock, utilising an iPad and employee mobile phones. So what you're going to see in this demo in the next 30 minutes is how powerful this solution is, and it's very seriously differentiated from anything else that's on the market. Now, this is the video. It goes for about 2 minutes, so just sit back and have a watch and listen to this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So this little slide is just to demonstrate how rapidly we're growing around the world and some of our customers. Our biggest customer right now has got 134,000 staff, being Tyson in America, and we've got nearly 500 customers now around the world using the technology platform. But why are we growing so fast? I think this is important to acknowledge. It's proven technology. We've been going about 5 years now here in Australia. And that's because we've got a robust app that's downloaded to the device. We've got an incredibly reliable platform that the software is housed on. It's really easy to deploy and fast. It's very low cost, in the order of about 50 cents per employee per week. Immensely powerful, which you're going to see shortly. And because it has such low support, our customers just tell us it just works. Now, this slide's important to understand that we don't just use facial recognition. We have other means to identify people within your organisation, and we openly talk about the fact that there are some people in society that really have an aversion to facial recognition. They think it's intrusive. So those individuals can be catered for by using their own passcodes or employee numbers or even QR codes to do the clocking process on the iPad. Now, our technology, if you're using both devices, consists of two separate apps. One is dedicated to the iPad, which is the facial recognition app, and the other app is dedicated to the phones, both iPhone and Android. And what we can do in the sense of user interfaces and collecting data, whatever we can do on the iPad, pretty much like 99% we can do on the phones as well.
Yeah.
Now, this is a really important slide. So many customers tell us that their Wi-Fi and the networks go down periodically.
Yeah.
And so our software works completely seamlessly when your internal Wi-Fi or when Telstra or Vodafone or Optus networks go down and the data can't flow. So your staff, whenever they're clocking in or out, if the network's down or the Wi-Fi is not working at that moment in time, their user experience is identical. So that the event is captured, stored on the device, and when the connectivity comes back up, the data flows. We can check temperatures, which is a COVID-related product or innovation, obviously over the last few years, if need be. We can also check do breath analysis when people arrive at work to ensure that they are alcohol-free to perform their duties, which is a big thing for risk mitigation. Now, we've also got the ability to set up an iPad in your front office to record the details of unknown people, like sales reps, etc. That all works off the same license. This is a really great slide and a new feature. Managers or supervisors have complete mobile oversight of every person that's clocked in or who has not clocked in or who has forgotten to clock in. A manager also has the ability to clock that person in remotely or clock them off if they've forgotten to clock off. And they can also, as a manager, they can clock a group of people in. We call them groups or teams. And the same app in an emergency if there's a fire evacuation, you can use the app to conduct a roll call or a muster.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. We can also display expiries, forklift licenses, training license, whatever. So dates can be inputted into the system which expire, and you can configure the device to just warn the person in lead up to the date, or you can actually deny the clocking event to proceed once the date has expired.
Okay.
Our product can deliver through the user interface 6 dynamic languages, which is helpful for some people that don't speak English very well. These are just some further examples of the power of the platform, of how you can ask questions at the time of clocking, and also get staff to acknowledge that they will comply with safety type stuff, which is held in the audit trail. This is important to know. If you're using both devices, or if you've got multiple iPads in the same building, the status of the event of the individual is shared across devices. So, which in practical terms means that I could clock in on iPad number 1 at the front of the factory or the depot, and I can clock off on a separate iPad or on my mobile device in another location, and the other devices know that I've already clocked in this morning.
Okay.
This is a new feature too. We can now track employee sentiment. Are they feeling good about their job? Are they having a bad day? Maybe they're, one of your supervisors is not so good, and if you've got multiple depots, you can track sentiment. So this is a great new feature. So you record the employee if you choose to turn it on. You can record the sentiment of someone, how they're feeling at the time when they clock off in the afternoon by using the emojis.
Okay.
That's live. That can be then reported on daily, weekly, monthly, automatically, and sent to senior management of how individuals or sites or groups of people are feeling. We use the services of Amazon Web Services to house our platform. So, if there's no questions, Karen, I'll move on to the live demonstration. Have you got any questions at this moment in time?
Not really, no. Everything's been quite good.
So on the screen now is on the left side. Let me just get this position for you. On the left side here is I've set you guys up as a test demonstration customer.
Yeah.
So I'll just quickly run you through the architecture, how it works if you were a customer. So we have a thing called sites, access points, users or employees, rules when the iPad can work. There's an event log of every clocking event, and then there's a reporting package. So let's start with sites. What is a site? A site is a building. So for today's demonstration, I've just got two sites, and the first one is called Site 1, the second is Site 2. You can have as many sites as you want. We don't charge extra for that. It's just however you want to set it up. Now, within a site, we have iPads, and we call them access points. So for today's demonstration, I have one iPad, which is this one over here, called Clocking Station 1. And I'm going to initially demonstrate it where we're going to touch the screen to perform the clocking function. And then I'm going to change it over to a different interface where I'm going to tell the iPad to clock me in and out without touching it. Then I'm going to change it again to show working in visitor registration mode. So this page here are all my demonstration setup, so I can quickly flick from one user interface to another to demonstrate the capability. Now, users are obviously employees. So today, these names are in this iPad. To add a user, you just put in here. If I wanted to put your name in, I just put, and I'll just add that. Now, that name will instantaneously be in the iPad ready for you to register. So rules are where we can tell the iPad to only allow clocking at certain times a day, but for the purposes of demonstration, I've got a 24/7 rule running. Events. Every event is captured in our log, which you then have access to and can report on. So in your case, you will want to see a weekly pay cycle report. So I'll just bring that up on the screen now. So it's just loading. So here's from the 20th of October to the 26th, which has been set up here, where I've said to the report, I want a weekly pay cycle report ending today. I want the hours shown as the daily amounts. I haven't got any rounding set up, but you can round numbers, and I can also deduct unpaid breaks if I choose. So there's a simple example of some entries that can be automatically set up, automatically emailed to you, or one or many in a PDF format and or a CSV file format. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the iPad here on my right, and you will see that you can see my face in the picture here in the viewfinder, but it's not recognizing me. That's because before I started this demonstration, I deliberately deleted my biometric profile from this device. So what I'm going to show you now is how simple it is to get your staff's biometric profiles into the iPad and how quick it is, and you only do it once. So the first stage is I look at the iPad, I'll press the green button called register. I will then select my name from the list of names, and then I'll accept the privacy statement, and then I'm done. And then I will present myself to clock in. So here we go. I'm looking, it's seen me, I register, I select my name, I accept the privacy statement, and I'm done. Now that's how quick it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you only do that once for each staff member. Now, next time I look at the screen, it instantly found me and I clocked in and I just touched the screen. So let's have a look on the event log, what's happened in that shot. You can see that I registered at 11:34, and then I clocked in a moment later using my face as the registration method. Now, what actually happened in that incredibly short period of time? The algorithm through the iPad camera at the rate of 30 mappings per second, it mapped my face. That's putting the dots around my eye sockets, the shape of my nose, the shape of my mouth. It then stored that information as a vector file, and then I pressed the green button and I selected my name. So it connected the stored vector files and connected them to my name. So next time I presented, at the rate of 30 frames per second, it was mapping my face and comparing those mappings to what was stored on the device. So next time I look at the device, it instantly says, oh, hi, Jeff. You can see the green button is grayed out. The red button is illuminated, ready for me to finish. Now I can answer questions. I actually set this up for a demonstration I did earlier this morning where they wanted data connected. You don't have to have that, obviously. So I'll just select that and I finish. Now, let me just undo that because I wanted to show you something else. I should have done that before I started. My apologies. Let me just delete that, and I want to put in the sentiment. I'm just getting a bit of code from our website. Just bear with me.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, I went to the wrong spot.
You're right.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so just to demonstrate that again, I'm going to clock in, then I'm going to clock out, and I'm now presented with the sentiment. I'm having a great day, and I clock out.
Okay.
And then that great day bit of information you can see here on the screen that I clocked out at 11:30. And that then flows through to the sentiment report that I've created, and you can see there that there's an average of site 1 of 4.3, which is a relatively high value. So I can do that by user or site. You can see here, and that's me, obviously, my thing. So that's an example. If we just summarise what we've done, what I've shown you so far, I've shown you the registration process, how simple that is, how quick it is. The other point to make about that is if you've got multiple iPads in the depots, you only have to register on one iPad, and then the system will seed the other iPads with those biometric profiles. So you don't have to walk around every iPad to do that. Okay. Now, the other thing I was just showing you then was how simple it is to change the user interface, going from asking questions at the end to showing the emojis. Now, the other thing I want to do now is just quickly show you how you can use this, which many of our customers use, where you don't even touch the clock, okay? You just look at it to clock in or out. So allow me to do that now. I'm just going to close the app, open the app, and synchronize that new command. So now I'm going to look at the screen without even touching, and I've just clocked in. That's how.
Okay.
Now, Karen, tell me, is there any specific? Let's talk about your use case now. What are you using now to capture time?
At the moment, we're using the My app, which we just started about a month and a half ago.
Which app was that?
My
Right.
So yeah, it's an app with the My account
Yep.
that they do a similar thing, but not as involved as yours. But it's very unreliable.
Right. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
and that data, does that data flow directly through to MYB?
Yeah. We have to approve it, and then it'll go straight through to My. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we have an association with a company that's got so just to be crystal clear, we don't have what we call a direct integration with MYOB, but we do
Yeah.
have one of our reseller partners does have that. So that company is called TimeMinder. So on the basis that you're keen to potentially move forward, I would be interested because we don't sell our product direct to end customers. We only sell through our resellers, and we have a number of resellers around Australia and overseas. So TimeMinder has an ability to capture the data from Noahface. It goes through the TimeMinder platform where the approval of the timesheet is done, and then it ends up in MYOB as a pay slip ready to pay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it with MYOB. Is there uh, is there any other issues other than unreliability with the existing systems?
With that one as well, because we have some guys that do overtime,
Yep.
that just lumps all their hours together. So, I don't know. Do you have an option in there where you can set it so they work so many hours, then any
Yeah,
after that?
yeah, absolutely. The TimeMinder software pulls standard hours apart from overtime
From
hours.
overtime hours, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a requirement for the staff to use mobile phone to clock in and out?
We do for some of them, yeah.
Okay, well
Yeah.
let me show you how that works. So I'm just plugging in my mobile phone now, so you can see it on screen.
Sorry, just back on that with the overtime. Um, that only applies to our casuals. Our full timers get a flat rate. Can you distinguish the difference between those?
Yeah. The software can handle two groups of people. So you have a group of
Yeah.
so on the screen here under users,
Yeah.
we can create groups. So we can have a contractor group, we can have a visitor group, we can have and then therefore you can have 50 full time. We could call let's just call this group here
Yeah.
full time staff, right?
Yeah.
And that's the name of that group. And then over here, this one can be called, what did you call them, contractors,
Casual.
or
Yeah.
did you call them contractors?
Casual.
Oh, casual, right? So you can, therefore, so in the casual group, you can, if you click on here and then add a member, we can put Hamden, Karen, and Pranav, right? And then they're part of the casual group. And then
Okay.
under the other group, which could be the full time, we can add Jeff, and Tracy, right?
Yeah.
And then they can be reported on through the system independently. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
So what I wanted to show you how simple it is. I'm just going to fire up the app. I'm going to deliberately disconnect it from the cloud. So right now the app is downloaded on my phone, but it's not talking to the cloud. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this Jeff here to connect because he's got my same phone number. So that's my phone number there. So what I do, I just go into here and go send registration. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
So then if you look on the screen, oops, oh, sorry, you can see that Noahface here has just sent a link, and you can see this link here. All I do is I touch that, I click the open button. Oop. Hang on, something went wrong. Hang on a sec. I'll do that again. Too many apps open. Here we go. Try that again. You can see there that this phone is now connected to Schumann Transport. I click next. I hit go. And then I can, as a worker, I can clock in.
Yeah.
And you can see that if I go back to this event log, that Jeff Rigby, you can see it's a different icon. If I can click here, and this is exactly where this phone is on the map, where the clocking event occurred. Now, you do have the ability to ring fence that so that the phone has to be at a particular spot to perform the action. We call that geofencing.
Yeah.
And that is set up when you set the system up through the access point type. And I'll very briefly show you this. You can see here that I've mapped it, not fenced it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And fencing, when you want to create a fence, you set the site that you want the fencing to be applicable to, and you can see here that if I wanted to make this spot there where there was a depot as an example, I can create a radius around that site. So if you selected fenced, the mobile phones of the workers would have to be inside this perimeter for the clocking event to be functional. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a quick oversight of that. The other thing that may well...
Sorry, one second. Hello? Yep. Oh, okay. All right. Hang on a sec. Jason wants you online. Sorry.
All right. I'm just gonna now show you what the phone looks like in manager mode. If you recall back on the slide presentation, I showed you how managers can have oversight of the business. So I'm just going to make this phone in manager mode, and you can see now there's a different screen. So you can see there, because I'm pressing the little button down the bottom called in, you can see that Yavia and Jeff, he clocked in 47 hours ago. So I've got the ability to clock him off, perhaps 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm now in manager mode.
Yeah.
So if I press the out button down the bottom right here, I can see that these people have not clocked in.
Okay.
Now, if I wanted to clock all three in, I'd just give them the tick box, hit the button at the top, and I can say they all arrived at, say, 10:45 this morning, and I've just clocked them in. If I go to the events log, you can see, they all got clocked in at 10:45.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and so that's what they call a group clocking. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I was going to ask you about that actually, because sometimes we get them where they've forgotten to clock out and that sort of thing. So that's nice and easy to change. Yes,
indeed. So Karen, there's not much more really I wanted to show you in this presentation. Is there anything specific that I haven't shown you that you'd like me to show you?
The only other thing was with the groups, how many groups can you have?
Over here, groups?
Yeah, when we went into the groups.
Unlimited.
Unlimited, okay. Yeah, no worries. All right. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
How many staff do you have, Karen?
About 60, yeah.
Okay, no problem. Too easy. Well, if you'd like, I will do an email introduction to a gentleman by the name of Ashley Glendinning, who's the sales director of TimeMinder. And Ashley will then contact you and get a pricing proposal for you. Would you like me to do that?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. We'll expect a call from Ashley today,
Okay.
and I'll do an email introduction first. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Yep. No problem.
All right.
Um,
I'll stop the record.